Morrison, if you want to get started with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up with questions for coaches and athletes.
Yeah, we're excited to be back, and talked about it last year, and I remember being in this room at the end. We were really excited about next year and what we were capable of doing, and this weekend's the next step in that. So we're excited to play. It's nice to be in a familiar environment that we were here literally almost a year ago, and we're ready to go compete against a really good Louisville team.
Logan, what's back-to-back Sweet 16? What's rewarding or satisfying about taking this program somewhere it wasn't when you got here?
Yeah, it's just so awesome to see how far we've come, especially from our freshman year being here. How hard we've worked, how hard the staff has worked, and everyone else included into this program. And just to be here again, Sweet 16, number 2, back-to-back years is super awesome.
Logan, you've touched over the past few weeks on how much of a balanced team this is, especially with all the seniors. What have y'all taken from the last time y'all were here and really grown from that, and what are y'all planning on using that here?
Yeah, same exact thing. I think like strength in numbers, right? Like using a balanced offense as much as possible is going to get us a lot farther than just a 1 or 2 woman show. And so being able to have such an amazing setter who can do that for us night in and night out is really awesome. And so I think, and we've all upgraded in every aspect. The people who are here, we have added some pieces. So I think we're a step higher of a team and can take it even farther.
Coach, you guys lost last year in the region this year. What can you take away from that loss to propel yourself to victory this weekend?
Yeah, I think we left there with an understanding that we're good enough. And there's a confidence this year. And I think last year there was maybe possibly, and I don't think it was this, we talked a lot about being good in those bigger moments. But we came into every match just, I think, with an underdog of, hey, we I don't know, can go do this. But I think in the middle of that Wisconsin match, we figured out that we belong. And I think that stayed true this entire season. As we've stepped out, there's been moments where there could have been doubt creeping in, even against TCU. But there's a lot of confidence when we get into those moments that we're good enough to get out of them. And I think that's the biggest thing that's been learned. And I was really emotional after that match. And it wasn't necessarily that we lost or it wasn't disappointment in our athletes. It's that we gave everything that we possibly could, especially those last 4 weeks of that season and in that match, and came up 2 points short. And we're hoping to take this one step further at least this weekend.
What about the matchup with Louisville kind of excites you the most?
I think just playing against a great group of girls. Like I've said before, I was at USA this past summer and I played with 2 of them. Really great athletes, great girls. So just, yeah, playing against them again and just playing against a really solid team.
And how would you say this team has grown since last year's run?
I think exponentially, like Jamie said, I think we have this kind of sense of like belonging now, like just doing the same thing that we did last year, 2 years in a row, I think is a pretty big deal and just a huge step from like where the program has been. So I think it's really exciting. I think the team's like all fired up and ready to go for tomorrow.
Logan, what are some of the benefits of playing here again when you're a little more familiar with this region?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, especially with how like kind of iconic the Bob is and how filled it gets and how passionate Nebraska fans are. So all those things combined, and just like coming into any gym that you've already played in is super beneficial, knowing, you know, kind of how the ball floats in the air, things like that. So kind of all the aspects. We're really excited to be back here.
Coach, here in Lincoln, we're covering the Big Ten. We don't have a volleyball tournament, like a postseason tournament like you do in the SEC. And Coach DBK talked about she really didn't know if it's a positive or negative. So curious to your thoughts. Do you think it's a positive or negative to have a postseason tournament for each conference?
All of the above. I've been asked a lot on that question, and I believe in growing our sport. And we talk a lot about it within our program about, I think our attendance has doubled every single year that I've been there. And that these athletes have built something special. And when I talk about it, it's really the people that are involved in this thing. They've been accessible to the people around, and all of a sudden we went from having 1,000 the first year to probably, I think if you exclude the first weekend when we had a tournament at home, probably averaged around 6,000 people. And I think that ability to build our sport is really, really important. And in order to do that at home, there's certain things. And again, having great ambassadors like the 2 people that are up here right now that are willing to have conversations with little kids on a Sunday is really, really important. And from the global landscape, having really meaningful matches on TV and having as many of them as possible and having ESPN step up and broadcast that event the way that they did, I think it'll be a net positive. And I think, again, those meaningful matches matter. And a lot of people were turning into our match versus Texas. And at that point, it was actually interesting because the general public vibe of that tournament turned in that match. It was, this is really impactful volleyball. It was people playing for something on the line and giving everything that they absolutely have. And again, we left that match a little bit crushed because we felt like we deserved to be in that final the next day. And I didn't watch the final because I got sick in the first 5 minutes of watching it because I felt like we should have been there. But from what I heard in that too, it was really impactful volleyball. And it was really, a lot of people were like, man, maybe this is a good idea. So I think for the commercialization of the sport and the growth of it as a whole, putting those matches on TV so that the general public and not just the volleyball public can go fall in love with the sport that we all love, we wouldn't be in this room if we weren't, is really, really important. I think there's certain, guardrails that need to be put up around that about keeping our athletes healthy when it comes to the NCAA tournament and how we do off days within that. But I think the SEC did an amazing job running the event. I think ESPN stepped up and broadcast it in a really dynamic and impactful way. And I think it's something that'll grow to be even better. So overall, I think a net positive.
Jamie, you have a lot of existing relationships with athletes in this tournament, athletes in this region. Just how proud are you to see the growth that they have all made?
Not at all, because I'm going to have to play against them. But I'm proud. And it's interesting because my time with the U19 group and a lot of players on this Nebraska roster were the first group that I coached. And a lot of them are starting to graduate college right now. And I'm really excited. And I literally just had this conversation yesterday with somebody. I'm really excited to see if I made an impact on their lives. And that matters to me, both from a volleyball standpoint and the human being standpoint, and what they do next. So for me, it's we talk when we get there in the first meeting about that. This isn't about winning this. This isn't about winning this tournament. This isn't about this training block. It's not about making a roster. It's about changing the trajectory that you were on as a volleyball player and a human being, and hopefully altering that to the point where you leave your college program and end up on the national team. So for me, it's awesome to see it. I'm still close with a lot of them, as close as I can be in terms of I care about them when I see stuff. But I'm excited to see what they can do. So it means a lot. I don't necessarily want to play against them. But it'll be awesome. And from I treat this a little bit differently because I come from the international volleyball world, or I come from the professional volleyball world where players move around. And when I was over in Turkey and coaching at Vakıfbank, I remember vividly the first time that Krista Harmado was on the other side of the net in another uniform. And this is this person that I love, but we got to go battle it out for 2 hours. And I can tell you, I was coaching club, and my team played against Coach Cohen's team. And I remember we vividly just ignored each other for 30 minutes before that. And afterwards, she came up and gave me a giant hug and said, I love you, but I know you and you know me, and we're going to go compete in this moment. And that's a little bit what this is. It's I care about you, and I want what's best for you, but not for this 2 hours. I want to go compete, and I want our team to give you the best. And I tell these guys the same thing. And that's the way we need to go about it. And once you move on to that next level, it's all about that. And it's a little bit like that for them with club volleyball and things along those lines too. But that next level, it might even be like a teammate that you're going to be with, and then for 6 months you're playing against them. And it's about respecting the competition, and that's exactly what this will be.
Coach, you've talked a lot about building a volleyball environment and culture at A&M. With that in mind, what does it mean to play here in Lincoln, and are there aspects of that environment you try to model off of this?
Yeah, 100%. And when I took the job, I had a checklist of things, and one of them was where I could build something that is similar to here, where people really, really care about the sport of volleyball. And for me, it was about getting the 12th man to get addicted to the game that we love. And I think that's happening right now. So it's not even like building there. I think we're almost there. I think there's demand for season tickets next season. Things are happening along those lines where it's going to get to that level. But I brought a lot of people from our administration here last year. Just to understand that this is possible, that having, a revenue-generating volleyball program that is adding to the athletic department is possible. And I think we're on our way there.
Coach, picking up on what you had talked about earlier when you used the expression growing the game. In the first 2 rounds, what are your thoughts about all the matches being streamed as opposed to open air?
You guys are asking the controversial questions in your SEC tournament, streaming. I think the interesting thing about our game is everything that we've done, everything that we've built, the amount that we've gone on TV, it's been a product of the work put in. And I think this year you saw that ESPN realized that this is a marketable sport to put on TV. It's a marketable sport to put on Fox, to put on ABC. And whenever we've done it, the ratings have gone through the roof. And I think time will come, and we'll earn what I think is due. But I'm not going to sit here and complain. ESPN is the one that is doing an amazing job pushing our sport, and I think that will come. But we have to build the sport in a way. And there are little things that we can do to keep that going. Again, the SEC tournament will add to that. If that's impactful television, and a lot of people watch it, more people are going to come back and watch the first and second round. That will get on linear. So it's a matter of time for me. But it's a building process, and it can't be, hey, we complain about this and it goes happen. We have to earn the right to go do those things. So I fully support ESPN and their decisions that happen. I think that will come with time. I think once they start doing it, the ratings will come in. We just need to prove that over time. And that happens with good volleyball players that are on the court, that are charismatic, that are going to interact with the TV, that are going to show an impactful volleyball game. And it matters with the way that our conferences put those things on the air and the way we put things together and the way that we, I don't know, even schedule to make sure that there are more key matches. Or I'm just going to go on a passionate plea right now because I'm fighting for this one. We need to get rid of RPI. Like, I'm going to try to make a change in the media right now if you guys are going to have impactful things. Like, right now, our system is set up to get into the tournament and get a higher seed. It's not set up to play marquee volleyball matches. Like, playing, I don't know, the 15th best team in the world, or sorry, in the country, I'm stuck in old habits, playing the 16th best team in the country isn't a positive thing for our postseason hopes. And that shouldn't be the case. We need to set up a system that incentivizes us coaches to go put marquee matches on in the non-conference piece also to make sure that those are getting up on TV and we're getting high ratings in those. So I think that has to happen as well.
Do you envision like a volleyball version of like the net for basketball?
Yeah. Or it's like, again, that's archaic at this point. We have people that can do math. And I think part of the problem is we want to understand the math behind everything. And RPI right now is the simplest equation humanly possible. And I don't need to understand it. I need to know, Jamie, you going to play the best teams in the country will get you a higher seeding at the end of the year. And they say it, but that RPI number means a lot. And it's that RPI number means a lot, and I'll leave it at that. I want that to change at some point. But I'm just going to go back. Let's bring that to these guys and ask them some questions. I can get passionate on volleyball, but they're here to go play volleyball, and they're the ones that are the stars.
Got time for one or two more.
In that regard, Logan, what has this last week been like, you know, coming off the high energy of that TCU win? What has this last week been like for y'all?
Yeah, I mean, huge win at home. That was a really tough second round matchup. And TCU was a great team. So I think we kind of enjoyed that win that night and flipped the page to Louisville the next day. And we've just been preparing all week leading up to this and for beyond as well, while also taking care of our bodies and not doing too much, too little. So it's been a good week of prep for all of us. And I think we're all in a really good headspace for the next couple of games.
Logan, from a student-athlete perspective, that SEC tournament, what was that like on and off the court?
Yeah, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it, especially, I mean, we all have friends like all around the SEC who we've played with, played against, and just good matchups. The Texas matchups always fun, even though we came up a little bit short this time. But I think it was in a cool venue. I think Savannah was such a cool city to host that in. And I think going forward could bring more people in, which is more of a touristy aspect. But no, it was great volleyball, great setup. They did such a good job putting it on.
Ifenna, there's a lot of great middles in this regional. What is it like for you to watch and go up against other great middles?
Yeah, I think it's really cool, just playing against or getting the opportunity to play against like the best of the best. I know that with high hopes, like we take care of this match. I know like there's just been a lot of talk of wanting to play Nebraska, wanting to like play the best of the best. I know like you've always hear of like Kara, who I played with, Andy, who's like phenomenal. So just the idea of just getting to play in the same vicinity, like the possibility of playing against them, I think is really cool.
All good?
I'll close with this too. We have 9 seniors on this team, and I pulled them aside and had the 12th man give them a round of applause. But this program wouldn't be what it was without the 9 of them, and these 2 obviously are here representing that. But on that, again, I believe I have one of the best, or the best middle blocker in the country, and the best opposite in the country. And just as we're getting down the stretch, I know they're going to throw some awards out there. I want to make sure I say that. So.